I want to talk about Splatoon Raiders a little more. This was featured in the Treehouse, which we hadn't had a chance to watch last week. It got about 25 minutes of gameplay hosted by former NVC host Jose Otero, which was cool to see. But this is getting its own direct on June 30th. And on the Treehouse, they basically showed off the tutorial, which is they taught us how to play Splatoon. So if you're new, you can go learn. But I have been playing Splatoon for 10 years. And then they showed off kind of the first level where you're going through this area, fighting off waves of salmonids to get 3 treasures that are denoted by these beams of light in the sky. And then once you get the last one, which has like a spiral beam, so you know it's kind of the big mission, then the level is over. You go back to base and you use all the resources you found to upgrade your gear and go out again. And I know we're getting a direct on June 30th, so there's still time. But I got to say, as someone who has like 400 hours across the Splatoon series, I'm still not all the way sold on this one. I still am looking at this and I'm like, it looks fun, but it just looks like a kind of a single player expansion to me, not kind of, oh, this is a big standalone single player thing on Switch 2.
Yeah, well said. I think I'm in the same boat. I'll definitely play this when it comes out because I like the idea of like getting a standalone single player Splatoon game, but it doesn't. It's just not there just yet for me. And I've said this before on the show. I think a part of it for me is the art direction. It's just kind of drab, and it's not. I feel like they took one of the most unique looking franchises in Nintendo history, like that was revelatory when it first came out, right? Yeah. It was very clearly like, hey, this is not your grandpa's Nintendo or whatever, right? Like this was this is a young, scrappier team of developers. And I've said this in the past on the show, but so much of Nintendo games were about cleaning things up, right? It was about collecting everything and finding, like Super Mario Sunshine is like, hey, get that graffiti out of here. And in here they were like, let's make a huge mess. Let's make an absolute disaster everywhere. That's the aesthetic, right? It is not rigid and conformed. It is chaos. And there's still a bit of that here, but I feel like the level wise, everything just feels a little desaturated. Yeah. And I want some more. Yeah. I just want a little more sort of vibrant pop from this game. And it's not happening, obviously. Right. So I can just have to deal with it, or suck it up as they do in these games. But I just don't, I wish it was had a little more sort of oomph to it. Yeah. Yeah, and maybe they're still hiding lots of stuff from us. They do have its own show dedicated to it that's coming up, and I'm still waiting to see. In the first trailer for this game or something, they had a little icon in the top left that said like dungeon list or something like that. Dungeons, like there's going to be little probably underground shrine-like areas in this game. We haven't seen that at all, so I'm still holding out hope there's going to be something that's going to really hook me in on this one. Did you guys play De Blob?
Yeah. Yeah.
No. Yeah. Okay. So this reminds me of that before all the color comes in. And like, that was the whole thing with that game was like, you went in and you're this blob and you painted textures and buildings and environments and stuff like that and turned them from black and white into like full color. And here it feels like, like, look, there's a lot of similarities here. Yeah. Here it feels like the part where the color kicks in just doesn't really happen. Yeah. And so I don't know. I'm optimistic, but I wish it was a little more so far.
Yeah, based just off of what we've seen, it looks very like 2008 PS3 Xbox 360 shooter. Like everything was just brown and gray.
Which is it's so weird for this series specifically.
Yeah, for this series, the most stylish like video game series Nintendo has ever made. One of the most stylish video game series probably ever, where everything just works so well together, from the sound design to the colors to the design of like just the fonts of their made up language. It all looks so great. And then it's like, here you go. Somebody remade a mountain in Unreal Engine 4, and now it's
You go to like, the one of the Nintendo stores and there's like the merchandise section for Splatoon. It is so drastically different than everything else in there, right? Like there is just this corner with these psychedelic neon alien languages and big color splats and everything like that. And they're selling these like keychains of these like funky, huge, bootleg Air Jordans. Yeah. And it's just they've got their whole own thing. And then now I feel like they lost the beat there, but I don't look, I haven't played it yet and I don't want to I don't want to just hone in on the negative for it, because I have a feeling that it's gameplay wise, it's going to be really fun.
I think that they consistently struggle to show Splatoon off in a good light. I felt that with Splatoon 3 also, like leading up to that game's launch a few years ago. It took them a long time to convince us of why we needed another Splatoon sequel on Switch instead of Splatoon 2 just getting more updates. That game turned out fantastic and totally justified that it exists, and did some of the coolest things Nintendo's ever done, like the final Splatfest, where it was basically like a Splatoon rave that you attended and did this final huge battle with. That was great. And then the side order DLC did take out all the color. It was this monochrome black and white world, but it was so starkly different than Splatoon that it really worked, and it had its own kind of dystopian vibe, and the music was really electronica and cool, and so that had its own identity as well. But then this, we just don't see it yet. We'll talk in 2 weeks after we watch the Direct, and hopefully we're all a little more on board. Anything else from the Direct you guys want to shout out, or should we move on?
Thanks for watching this clip from Nintendo Voice Chat. Be sure to catch the full episode over at youtube.com/IGN Games. New episodes of NVC drop every Friday on IGN Games, IGN.com, and your favorite podcast platforms. With the Nintendo Switch 2 finally here, there is so much to dive into. We appreciate you tuning in, and don't forget, NVC is the only place you can get the thing.